Ooh, and zoomed in. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am answering a couple DMs today. I'm gonna answer one, really great question, and then I'm gonna rapid fire go through a bunch that I've collected that are super vague or like a little bit weird, just for fun. But okay, let's start with this. I answered this question on an Instagram story earlier today. So if you have a question of your own, or if you like kind of hearing answers to these kinds of Q&As, make sure you're following on Instagram at the HA Society. So the link is in the show notes. But anyway, Jamira asks, hi, I think I have HA, but I'm also overweight. Everything else checks out. I'm waiting to see a specialist again, but could use some guidance. Have you had any clients with a high BMI? My doctor doesn't think I have HA, but I do. The diagnosis they have given me is primary ovarian insufficiency, also known as premature ovarian insufficiency, POI, or previously premature ovarian failure. So we absolutely have had people with a high BMI, and it really, that phrase in of itself is really vague, right? Because the BMI, a lot of people in normal bodies are considered overweight on the BMI. So if my colleagues who work at the HA Society as well, Ashley and Mishi, they were in they're currently in normal bodies considered overweight, and Ashley and I were both in HA in bodies that were considered normal. So it's really kind of all over the place and not a helpful marker. But if you are actually, obese, it's kind of like, this is objective, and you're not having a period, there could be some HA involved. I don't know, how you eat. I don't know how you exercise. I don't know if you've had diagnoses before that have caused you to take on really strict diets for certain reasons. All of these can cause HA. So really trying to understand where the HA is starting from is going to be really important. And if it feels like a total mystery, right? You have no period, but you did have one in the past, and suddenly you've gone and gotten lab work done, and they've said your ovaries are in failure. It sounds like either, your AMH is crazy low and your FSH is like, maybe it's really high compared to everything else. Like, I'd really have to see the labs. So for someone who has an issue like that, it's going to be hard to find information to help you patch together a solution for something like that by just Googling around. Or an issue like that, you're really going to want to reach out to some kind of holistic fertility practitioner like us. That would be my best bet. And it doesn't mean you have to commit to, a multi-month coaching package. If you're really just looking for that direction, we do one-time consults. So you can sort of fill out our application form and fill out our intake forms, send us any lab work you have, all that good stuff, and we'll review it and we'll meet with you for an hour and we'll talk through it. For a one-time fee, it's like $160, and that could really, like that $160, with us or another practitioner that does something similar, that's not a medical doctor, right? Because that's more of a fertility coach, because they're going to come from a different perspective. That's going to be really helpful. But remember, for your type of issue, you're going to want someone who can interpret the labs, right? So not just a fertility nutritionist, not just someone who's going to look at your diet and lifestyle and help you clean it up. While that's important, you probably want someone who can look at that and interpret it from this context. Because often your medical doctor or your OBGYN, oftentimes they're actually missing a lot of the context of HA, which is really interesting. They just look at the labs, it's not normal. They look at you, your BMI, and they're like, maybe they even look at your AMH, and they're just like, oh, this is an unfortunate person. But there's actually so much more to it when you have such a thorough understanding of fertility, the the endocrine system, and how the world around us, the world we're in, the pressures we're in, actually truly affects us, and has seen that be resolved in practice. I will say for our clients who have had those labs that are more wacky, if you will, than HA, right? So when you get HA labs, everything's going to be low, we can see it from a mile away, we can like look at it and we just know. Then sometimes there's labs that are more complex, and that is where we're starting to be like, oh, that, you know, I see where this POI is coming from. I'm not saying POI can't result in babies and things like that, but I see where this added level of difficulty and complexity is coming in. And that is definitely why you want more specialized help and more opinions than just the medical one. You know, and there's nothing wrong with taking medication, and if going down the HRT route or something like that needs to be done, that's great. But I can tell that if you're asking me this question, you want to explore all avenues first. So I would recommend that. There's a link to our coaching information in the description to fill out that application if that's something you want to do. But good luck with finding the right person. Okay, so the next ones, I'm gonna just bust through a couple that are kind of like funny. Sorry if you can hear my husband. Okay, hey, I think I am suffering from HA. I never got my period. I got it with the first, I'm gonna shut this door. He's all talking about potties and underwear, and we don't need that in the background. Okay. Hey, Alina asks, I think I suffer from HA. I've never had my period. I never got my period. I got it first when 19 with the pill. It didn't feel good, so I didn't take it anymore. I didn't get my period. Then, 1 year later, I started taking yam roots. I got my period after a month. I took it for half a year. Then I wasn't sure for what, and I didn't take it anymore. No period anymore. So I didn't have my period for almost 2 years. Now my question, should I take the yams? Does this solve the problem? Or is it just that I bleed? I don't want to just bleed. I would only take it if this is healthy for my body and helps me. I actually have a healthy weight, I train a lot, and I also have had a bad recovery, libido, mood. Would be happy for any recommendations, especially if you would recommend me taking yams. I already visited several doctors, but they didn't help me because my body is actually healthy. Alina, I have absolutely no idea what taking yams means. Is this some kind of Chinese medicine thing? Are you literally eating yams every day? If you are literally eating yams every day and you get your period, that is probably because you're eating carbohydrates that you weren't eating before or something. If I remove the interesting question about the yams that I don't know the answer to, except for I don't think yams is giving you an optimal cycle, it sounds like the doctors won't help you because you're a regular BMI and you don't seem like you have some kind of eating disorder or something, but your period is completely missing and you think you have HA because you have deemed that you think you have HA. You're probably just exercising too much and not eating enough, and your overall body weight is too low. So if we step away from the focus on the yams and look at all the other information that you find on HA everywhere, on our Instagram page, on our podcast, on our YouTube, you probably just need to follow the same instructions that everyone does, you know what I mean? So there's that one. Ditch the yams, eat some food, stop working out so hard is probably going to be the thing for you. Okay, Live Fit O asks, can you give me information on spotting in recovery? Include this one in because it's a super short, vague question, but spotting in recovery, if you weren't ever spotting or bleeding before, and now you are spotting as progress, means that you are building a uterine lining of some kind. But if it's just like every 3 weeks you're just spotting again and nothing, and this is going on for months, you're still on a really, really low hormone baseline. So you've made some changes and you've improved your hormone production enough to build some form of a uterine lining, but not enough for it to mature at all. So the body needs to excrete it. That's probably what's going on. But of course, if there's more context to be had with that, I could perhaps answer that question a little better, but hopefully that helps. And then the last one here, Sandy16488 asks, hi, thank you so much for the post. What could be the reason of a period of 2 days only? Okay, what could be the reason of a period of 2 days, then 2 days of nothing, and again some spotting on the 5th and 6th day? My cycle length is usually 35 days. So again, like the same spotting information that I had just mentioned, but are you ever bleeding or do you just spot? It sounds like you may just have, again, low baseline hormones, and so there's not a whole lot to bleed out. I think that gap in the middle is really interesting for the 2 days that it's missing. But it could just be nutritional deficiency. So I would also recommend for you meeting with someone, maybe a fertility-based nutritionist is fine, but getting some lab work done could be really cool just to see what your estrogen looks like, and then just to understand, like, is that fine and there's a problem elsewhere in the reproductive organ system, or is it just that you're not eating enough, you're almost there's just not enough estrogen to actually build up a significant uterine lining, it's just not enough progesterone for that bleed to come out. It really could be any of those things. So I would definitely recommend getting your food, exercise, lifestyle, and even lab work reviewed by someone just to give you sort of like help you connect all of those dots, because I'm sure the answer is in those things for you. It's probably not going to be something weird, but I know that it's hard to sometimes connect those dots for yourself. So that would be my thought for you. And if you really just, at the end of the day, even if it is like for everyone's issue, I don't know what this is, but this is what I'm experiencing. Like, why am I experiencing this? When it comes to being on the spectrum of having HA, at the end of the day, you're undernourished, you're overstressed, your energy output is too high, your history is too deep, right? HA for X amount of years and birth control and whatever else your body has been through. We can't just go from that huge deficit to eating a little bit more and expect our bodies to miraculously heal. So, something that all of these people have in common is they're seeing signs that their body's making progress, but it's not like this black and white resolution, and that feels confusing. It's more like you're in the middle. So you're in the middle, so keep going to the end. Does that make sense? Okay, well, that's enough for today. I hope that this was helpful, all y'all. If you have a question, I would love to answer it. Please submit it. You can DM me at the HA Society or put it in the comments below, and I will see you guys for the next episode. Bye.